Hello. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and thanks to everyone who's joining us online as well. It's brilliant to see a full house here tonight. My name is Rachel South, and I manage the bookshop at Pushkin House, and I'm so pleased to welcome Masha Alyokhina and Natalia Baranova for their discussion tonight about Masha's new book, Political Girl, Life and Fate in Russia, which has just been published by Penguin's Alan Lane in translation by Emily Eccles. Before we get started, I just wanted to bring your attention to some important news for our bookshop. We've recently launched a fundraising campaign to develop our bilingual English-Russian bookshop. It's the only one of its kind in the UK. We're planning a renovation next year. We're going to be stocking hundreds of new books, generally growing the bookshop as a cultural hub for English and Russian-speaking communities, and also supporting our book talks program in English and Russian, which includes events like this one tonight. So we would really appreciate any support. If you'd like to learn more or to make a donation, you can scan the QR code there. I will now just say a few words of introduction, and then I'll hand over to Masha and Natalia. Masha Alyokhina is a Russian political artist, activist, and veteran member of Pussy Riot. In August 2012, she was sentenced to 2 years of imprisonment for performing Pussy Riot's punk prayer in Moscow's Cathedral of Christ the Saviour, which she documents in her first book, Riot Days, published in 2018. Following her release, Masha continued to protest and stage Pussy Riot actions in Russia. In 2014, she co-founded Media Zona, which is an independent media outlet covering Russia's judicial, law enforcement, and penal systems. From 2017 to 2018, she staged the play Burning Doors with Belarus Free Theatre, supporting imprisoned Ukrainian filmmaker Alyokhina. And in 2021, Masha faced new charges over her support of Alexei Navalny, and she spent 18 months under house arrest before she fled Russia 2 months after the start of the full-scale invasion. Since leaving Russia, Masha has continued to perform protest concerts and to support Ukraine. And in September 2025, Masha, alongside 4 other Pussy Riot members, were convicted in absentia for anti-war activism, and she was sentenced to 13 years. So Masha's here tonight to talk about her latest book, Political Girl, which is an account of her life and work in the period 2014 to 2022, so when she was released from prison to her departure from Russia. Masha is joined...
Departure.
Flee, sorry.
No, departure is much better. I think this is the best word I've heard during last 3 years. Thank you.
Okay. Masha is joined by Natalia Baranova. Natalia is a journalist, feminist activist, radical educator, and research assistant at the Centre for Women, Peace and Security at the London School of Economics and Political Science. She's been working with Russian civil society sector for over 10 years, including as a journalist for media projects such as Tikhie Dela, Team 29, and as a content producer for the educational project Teplitsa, Technology for Social Good. Natalia also leads an independent community initiative called Experiencing Activism. Her areas of work include combating gender-based violence, resisting Russian anti-gender politics, and advocating for a just and sustainable peace. Natalia was labeled a foreign agent by the Russian government, and she's placed on the wanted list. And she currently faces a court case in her hometown of Kirov, Vyatka, for failing to comply with the foreign agent law. So thank you, Masha, and thank you, Natalia, for joining us tonight. Thanks, everyone, for coming, and we hope you enjoyed the talk.
Thank you so much, and warm welcome, all of you. Thank you for being here. Just to like housewarming thing, we will have a conversation with Masha. I have lots of questions, but I will limit myself, of course. And after we will have of course, we will have a performance. What do you expect from Pussy Riot? We will have, maybe all of us have performance tonight. And we'll have a Q&A. Please, prepare your question, your thought, your ideas. We will be happy to hear you. And I feel personally a little bit nervous because I will tell you now why. I was thinking how I want to start this talk, and I prepare, just few paragraphs as I talk to you, Masha, when I finish to read your book. It's your second book, and I spent like 3 evenings to read the advanced copy of it, and I cannot stop. I cannot stop to read, to finish it, and in some point, when it was the end, I was like, no, it's not the end. It will be another book. And I just want to share my thought, how I experience it, why it's important to me. I remember myself dancing with my girlfriend wearing balaclavas in my hometown Vyatka, which named Kirov as the surname of Soviet killer. It was in our favorite pub, in building where Boris Pavlovich organized a theater performance to support political prisoners after the Bolotnaya protest. You and Nadia were in prison at that time. I was in my first year at university. It was so far away from us, 1,000 kilometers east from Moscow. You were a legend, and we admired you. I was 18, and I wasn't involved in politics, but I knew I wanted to be a journalist. My dream has come true, but with criminal case. More than 11 years later, I met you in Vilnius, in our city of exile. Together with feminist activists from Belarus, you are part of Solidarity performance, with former female political prisoners exchanging clothes in the main square in the winter time. I felt so much pain for all of you. And only sisterhood and feminist solidarity warm my heart in times of war and exile. Your book is intimate diary about how you decide not to be silent. How did our country start a brutal war with no accountability? Your dream is freedom, justice, and the protection of women's rights, and stop to a cycle of violence, so much violence and pain. It's our dream. Rage, anger, and hope. You share what you felt and why you cannot stop. You share moments of numbness, fear, where you don't feel yourself because it's so many wounds. But it's so much of the other side. Your incredible friends, your mom, your son, your pet rats, your allies around the world, your supporters. You were experiencing friendship in prison, career love in time of repression and house arrest, your poetry, joy, and resistance. It was a therapeutic reading for me. You said that you are not a hero, but I know that there is a light, courage, and bravery inside of you, which shapes me, which shapes feminist movement in Russia and worldwide. Together, we're stronger, and we can hold each other in such time through generations, and to be voice in time when our colleagues, allies, and activists were silent because they're in prison right now in Russia. Thank you so much, Masha, for this book and showing us what you experienced. Thank you.
Спасибо. Thank you.
Yeah, and my first question, how do you start to be political girl?
Everyone political. I mean, there was no decision, and I never dreamed, and kind of still don't dream to go to official politics. Like, thank you. We'll keep punk. Actually, the title is the combination of two words, and political went from the case, because they do not mark criminal cases in Russia to political cases and ordinary. They call us all just banal hooligans, banal criminals, nothing political there. But actually there are a lot of politics, and that's how this title appeared. From the, I don't know, does it answer the question or not?
I was happy to read your Yeah, your years in school even, and in primary school, in your teenage years.
Oh, there was a fight for that chapter.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Tell us
it was a
what was
fight.
fight about. Yeah, but you mentioned a lot how you hate, this gender desegregated subject in school when like girl need to cook and boys need to do another stuff and to be prepared for army, and you were against it. And I was thinking, oh, maybe it was in such time. Maybe we didn't call ourselves as a feminist, but it was absolutely like feminist idea in your anger and disagreement with all of this. Yeah.
Well, it's really kind of hard to find definition for yourself in Soviet or post-Soviet school because, I mean, just one fact, there are 0 universities, and all that time there were 0 universities where you can study like gender politics, for example, in Russia. 0. And all of the information from the West you take yourself, find yourself, search in the internet. It's not like feminism is not something which you could learn from the official institution, such as like school or university. And since our case, and especially since the full-scale invasion is kind of, since full-scale invasion is criminal, they call it extremism. And in our courtroom, they called it a moral sin. Feminism is a moral sin.
Yeah, but why it was a fight with this chapter about your maybe teenage years?
It's a fucking huge book. I mean,
Yes, please.
could be shorter,
Yeah.
So something we should cut. I wanted like everything to stay.
Yeah. I like this chapter. But you will see when you buy a book, it's not like whole chapter. It's fascinating reading, which kind of storytelling from your diary to political situation in country for Soviet times. I don't know how to call it correctly. Do you personally call it as a diary, or it's what kind of format for you? How you collect this information? Yeah, it's just, I was thinking how to call it for myself. It was really fascinating to read.
It's a book. I mean, I don't know the genre. It's a book, real. The format is a bit different from usually because we have titles. I say we because we were building this book together with Oля Borisova, who I hope will come today, at least to the end, and with Emily, who is here. Maybe you can stand 1 second. Yeah, Emily is an amazing translator and person. And Oля is a member of Pussy Riot, and also Natasha mentioned the criminal case which we received. So it's 5 members of Pussy Riot, me, Oля, Tasso Pletner, Alina Petrova, and Diana Burkot. We received from 8 to 13 years of prison in absentia for the anti-war song Mama Don't Watch TV, and for performance in Pinakotheka Museum, which we did in Munich last year. Both anti-war, anti-Putin statements, both been made here in the West. And yeah, like, I mean, I was just thinking about, like, if we come back to the question of political and non-political, like, this sentence means, honestly, I didn't think that they would like open a criminal case for the song, like, against people who left the country. I didn't know that they care about us. I thought they just throw us out and kind of that's it. But they opened the case, and basically 13 years is quite, I think it's the biggest sentence for so-called fakes about Russian army in Um, so politically we exist there, but physically we cannot stand on our land. And I started to think about how many people, like millions of people, physically can exist in the country, but they cannot be political because the price for that is their life. Since the murder of Alexei Navalny, the price for any political statement, your word, your placard, your kind of post on social media can be imprisonment, and in prison they can easily kill you. Because after Navalny, anyone can be killed. So this is about like political thing.
Yeah, I remember the part also in the book when you talk a lot with people in detention center. After you were released, and you, like Masha and Nadia and your allies, you always went to political prison to visit political prisoners and just to be sure that they get medical treatment. They needed to take care about, and you were these people for them. And you talk. I was also inspired how like broader social analysis you bring to the book, like how people really live in Russia. And now I feel a little bit relieved because when people in the West like ask how did it happen, I just tell you, please read Masha's book and you will have no question after this. It's absolutely clear just to show like living of cost, pensions, and it was a story while you were in prison, when young men who were in prison, they sign a contract and then go to fight for Donbass to pay for their credit in Russia. It was like all of this, what we're observing right now, you already describe it in your book, and I really was, yeah.
Not all.
Not all.
Something is missing. But I've tried. I mean, in detention center, you really can meet Russia. There was a girl, for example, with whom because detention, what they did, they opened a criminal case against me in January when Navalny came back and we went to the demonstration. So they opened a criminal case because of Instagram post and put electronic anki on my leg. But several months later, they started this circulation, this carousel of arrests, when they detain you for 15 days, put you in jail. When the gates open, the gray car is waiting for you. They put you to the gray car, bring to police station, write another report, bring you back to detention center. And this circulation, you don't know when will start, when will finish, how many of 15 days you are going to spend in detention center, and will they open a criminal case against you during one of 15 days thing. So usually detention centers are used for minor crimes, drunk driving or fight on the street. So there were quite funny people whom I met there. Like really, I mean, there was a girl. I think she's closer to Tay and Lisa in war chapter. So she's like 22. So she lived the whole life under Putin. Just didn't have anything else to compare with. No perestroika, no 90s. Everything what she knows about these periods of time she knows from parents or from the news resources, which are, and it was quite funny to talk with her, because first question she asked me was the question like, are you really you really been naked in the church?
Russian propaganda.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a question, so not first time. There was sometimes people ask here like, really you offended feelings of believers, like really people hate you in Russia. I never through all these years met any person who hated me, who said like, you offended my feelings, you kind of protested against God, and you just really broke my heart because of that. 0 people. But this naked thing, quite often. I mean, they managed to put to the heads of people an information that we were like naked in the church, you know, just having fun, and, you know, just don't give a fuck about the God. So that's what people think, and it takes minutes to explain that there was a political protest. The song has name Mother Mary banished Putin. There were elections held in a week after. We were protesting against falsification of elections, against Putin, and during the 3rd term he did that and this and that and this, and we are on this spot. So after this like small lecture, they are like, okay, I'll go to YouTube. But now people, by the way, cannot go to YouTube. YouTube is blocked. You can go there only with VPN. You can go there only like Instagram, Facebook, same. Telegram is working without VPN, but it's controlled by FSB. So basically your officer is like monitoring anything you send.
Yeah, use a signal. Yeah.
No, like sticker box.
Yeah, they have yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, Masha, I want to talk about when we also describe like how Russian propaganda like claim feminism today, like we basically will be labeled soon as an extremist, as a, like, for example, feminist anti-war resistance movement. It's an undesirable organization now. And I was while I read your book, it was like I was super like, oh my god, I'm so happy to read it, because like everything is through feminist political lens. And if we talk about like democracy and women's rights and feminism, of course it's not a separate, and you describe in general violation of human rights, reproductive violence, and how this way to dictatorship, it's a long way. It didn't came all of a sudden, and we saw it through like decades of violation of women's rights especially. And also, you know, I remember it was a moment about sanction, about the Western approach. After Crimea, we didn't see comprehensive sanction which can affect, and it was happened only after full-scale invasion. And it's really, really, you know, I want just to connect all of this big picture about how police violence, how violation of human rights, and banned free election and corruption, how all of this connected, but also how connected like toxic masculinity and militarized masculinity in our case with patriarchal society. And you also mentioned that your dream is like to help to protect women's rights in North Caucasus, which is like extremely extremely violated situation right now. And my question for you, how do you see feminism movement in Russia since maybe since early 2020 to the current state?
Why 2020?
Maybe from your action, from it kind of decade, more than decade.
In 2020, when Putin actually ruined the main law of Russian Federation called Constitution by changing several paragraphs and giving himself an official permission to be elected more than 2 times, same year, on his birthday, we raised 5 rainbow flags in Moscow in state buildings, including FSB, Administration of President, Ministry of Culture, Police Station, and Supreme Court. 3 years later, this Supreme Court called LGBTQ+ movement an extremist movement, and there are cases now in Russia of prosecution people not activists, by the way, which is quite smart. They did not persecute artists. They persecuted random barmen, bar ladies, in gay bars, putting them to prison in small towns. So the question somehow is about, I don't think that 2020 was kind of a turning point for like Putin state saying something different about feminism and LGBTQ plus in Russia. That was just another year of taking freedoms. I think constitution is quite important because it's a main law, and like imagine how many people been protesting in the center of Moscow when it happened. Center of Moscow. There were 500 people. 500. So I think this number says a lot how bad things were that time. And Navalny was poisoned 2 months later, in August, transported to Germany, and by the end of the year he decided to come back, and another wave of shutting everything down happened. Well, with feminism and women's rights, everything was bad from the very beginning, like from the year 2000. It was just worse and worse and worse, because Putin decided since 2012 promote traditional values as the main kind of agenda of traditional Russia, opposing so-called traditional Russia to the sinners West, like gay Europa, this word they use in Russian propaganda to describe European countries. So the fact that new country Russia, after the collapse of Soviet Union, didn't manage to build an identity, because countries which been freed from Soviet Union, they build identity on like national factor plus the fact that they've been occupied by Soviet Union and freed. Russia didn't have that. So there was no kind of idea which can unite the new fragile country, from which several regions, such as Chechnya, want to split. This is dangerous situation because, again, Chechnya wanted independency on 90s. Yeltsin started to bomb it. It provoked a war where there were no winners, just the blood and ruins. I think this is basically the starting point of everything. I mean, what happened after, including this war, which we have now. So, since the moment when Putin became first-time president, there was no conversation about women's rights, just not needed. He never presented his wife as a first lady. It was like he hid her from public, from media. Journalists who were trying to make an interview been fired. Several media were shut down. Then he never called his daughters by their names, and speaking about them was like pride. He called them like Navalny, these women. At the same time, the level of propaganda on traditional values that all women should, give birth and be super traditional was growing. And yeah, this is the situation. I don't know how to describe it. And I should actually mention that I'm not against military. I'm super pro-weapon to Ukraine, like pro giving weapons to Ukraine, and even like sending army forces to help this brave country to win the war. And all of the actions which are in the book, and book is like actually our actions. It's mosaic of actions and the context which provoke this action to happen. And like I had this small hope that by combining it all together, I can give bigger picture. We can give bigger picture to you what is Russia about, another Russia. So all the actions being non-violent. We received violence. We've been beaten several times for nothing. But we didn't do any violence on our actions. And now I'm super sure that army forces needed to kick out this fucking army from Ukraine. This is my position.
Yeah, it just actually, if we quote like Frantz Fanon about like right to, of course, to fight, and you made extremely important fundraising campaign supporting Ukraine after life in exile. Yeah, and yeah, it's extremely important. And you know, we don't have a. Yeah, we have like 10 minutes for like our conversation, and then for performance and Q&A. I was wondering because, as I mentioned, I really like to read about you more in this book. And can I ask you, what is your lineage? Who hold you back? Who support you in your daily life? You also mentioned about your grandma, about your mom. How was, and it was a like really powerful chapter for me when you said that you're first who decided to speak against system in your family, and it was super powerful. You said it was for future generation girls. And yeah, if you can speak, because you know we see Pussy Riot as a super, like always, yeah, we admire what you're doing, but who hold you back? What is your lineage? Yeah.
When?
Maybe your previous generation, yeah, or maybe figure which you admire you, yeah.
In different moments, different people. When there were no like physical people, books. Like in penal colony, I was in solitary confinement, and when the guard was like walking with me to the working place, actually, okay, shortly it was prohibited to communicate with me because I can, by their like definition, I could potentially organize the protest in the penal colony. So if they saw a person near me more than 2 times, the person been called to administration, and they talked with the person that one more time, it will be a criminal case, so don't talk with her. Yeah, I'm not from dissident family. Somehow we didn't have these political conversations in the kitchen, and there was tradition in Soviet Union, you know. In dissident families, the discussions about things were happening in kitchens because it was not allowed to protest openly. So I'm child of perestroika, and perestroika is considered as a time of change, time of freedom, time of speaking out. So I found all of that later, like how kind of lucky I was and am, because quite shortly that again been shut down.
And let's close a little bit before performance. Alina, is it everything fine? Yeah. Okay. And you know, today is the 7th of November. It's a day of October Revolution. And
I know.
you also mentioned you mentioned in the book like how Russian authorities really afraid now it's no celebration of this day at all, and how even they afraid this word. And speaking about in general feminist imagination, what revolution means even today, what does it mean for you today? How do you feel it in your body, like, in your daily
How
life?
do I feel revolution?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
What does it mean for nowadays?
Mm. Well, originally it was the term describing turning like upside down, around, I think, from astronomy ages ago. But then it became political, and it's interesting how Putin's regime has this attempt to rebuild the dead body of Soviet Union, but afraid of the word revolution, which was the basis for Soviet regime. But the question is wider. It's like super wide question.
Or maybe how do you feel it in your body?
I don't know how to answer this.
Okay, we will dance together after. And maybe
Do you
continuation.
feel revolution in your body? Something like that? Like, I don't know.
I mean, it's my dream to go to your concert one day, but I can imagine it's revolutionary spirit. What are you, when you're performing, we feel it, and just for closing, this is a really famous feminist activist, queer black revolutionary spirit, Audre Lorde, and it's her famous book about master tool will never dismantle a master house, which means repressive methods and regime will never dismantle the system. If we are as a community pro-democratic, who stand for human rights, if we use the same tools which states use, we will never achieve maybe just and free world. And what kind of tools for today each of us can use? Maybe we also have a UK government here. It's a lot of problems in this country, but what kind of tools you see for yourself and for our community for that time, what we can show together and experience?
Tools? Типа инструменты?
Practices.
Practices.
Mhm.
Well, watching the, let's say, right turn of Western world, I think it will be cool to see more radical actions from pro-democratic views people, just to grow teeth and somehow I would recommend this.
Thank you so much. Please prepare your questions for Q&A. I think now it's the time.
We want to read, actually, one piece from the book. It's the moment from January 2021. Actually, the moment just before the criminal case. I will read from the book, and Eric, who's also member of our collective, the only one not from Russia, performing in the show Riot Days, which we actually performed for many years, but since the full-scale war, through the money from the shows and merchandise, we support Ukrainian hospitals. For 3 years we were donating to Okhmadit. It's the biggest children's hospital in the center of Kiev, which was bombed last year by Russian army. We raised around 200,000 euros through exhibition, Velvet Terrorism and Riot Day show. And now we support smaller hospital in Dnipro and several families of Russian political prisoners. If you somehow, after the book or conversation, want to support our political prisoners, it's super important. You can find their names on the websites, for example, Memorial, and write a letter. It's just 30 minutes of your time, but receiving these letters means a lot for people who are there. They understand and feel that the world remembers them. Also, it gives a little bit of protection, because some administrations, prison administrations, when they see that people are not forgotten, they treat them better. Definitely, like after Navalny, it's like walking on the edge. But to write is better than not to write. To support is better than not support. And okay, we'll do a reading. I'm ready. It is snowing. We are eating hot popcorn. It's a little bit like a fairy tale, but it's not a fairy tale, and sometimes we argue. No one knows what will happen later on. Neither of us, nor our guests who come and go. Then Navalny says, to be in Germany was not my choice. It is a great country, but I'm not here of my own free will. He stands on the hill with a view of German suburb behind him, in a blue jacket with seriously thin face. But I have bought a ticket home. I return to Moscow on 17th of January on the Pobeda flight. Come and meet me. Tickets home. The flight from Berlin to Moscow is sold out to journalists. Navalny boards the plane to the sound of applause. Cameras, telephones, questions, surgical masks. Hello everyone, says Navalny. And even through the mask, it is clear that he is smiling. Alexei, are you not scared? Alexei, are you not afraid of being arrested when you land? Alexei, how are you feeling? I feel that I am a citizen of Russia who has the absolute right to return home, Navalny says, pushing through the crowd of journalists. We go to meet him, Lucy and I, in our lawyer's car. It's old and broken down, with no back seat. We go slowly through traffic jams. We don't want to be late, but many people don't want this. At Vnukovo airport, a crowd, an excited one, with everyone's eyes moving from their phones to the doors and back again. 2,000 people. Some have come with flowers, some with placards. We are proud of you. The police begin to push people away from the airport building. The detentions begin. Those who came to meet Navalny are dragged into autozaks, center e-cops mixed with the crowd. At a height of 10,000 meters, Navalny and his wife Yulia watch the series Rick and Morty on a laptop. Yulia understands everything. She understands that this is his last 2 hours of freedom. Their last 2 hours of freedom. She knows that as soon as the plane lands, they will take him away for a long time, but she doesn't know yet that it will be forever. They laugh, look back and share one set of earphones between them. The pilot announces that due to technical reasons, they will not be landing at Nukwa Airport. The plane changes course, a change in route that 1,000 people are following. We will not get to the other airport on time. Our lawyer pulls a person out from the group of detainees. I drink sweet coffee from the vending machine and look at my phone. And then I look around. Opposite me, there is a shop with an advert for sportswear, a sponsor of the Olympics, where Cossacks beat us up. To love the motherland. They detain him at passport control. The plane needed to be diverted, so the crowd of people who love him are left in a different corner of the city. Admiration and bewilderment, the front covers of the world newspapers, and behind the scenes negotiations. Navalny's action is an action with capital A, to return to your motherland that will kill you. But he doesn't know that yet, and neither do we. We watch his team's investigation about Putin's palace. We read the announcement of the unsanctioned protest. His words coming out for. A criminal case awaits us, awaits many of us. But among of many, it awaits two of us, Lucy and me, sitting in the different benches in the deserted nighttime airport. One for all, and all for one. Snowballs fly at riot police helmets and armored cars. Batons, blows, screams. For Navalny, Putin is a thief. That's enough. Batons and more blows. The crowd chants, I'm not afraid, we are not afraid. An unequal battle which we lost before it started. Against the background of New Year's Eve lights and snowflake decorations. The crowd chants, we have no weapons. That's probably a problem. We have no weapons. Surgical masks with drops of blood lie in the dirty snow. It is as if they forgot to spread salt to melt the avenue's ice, and everyone who runs down, it constantly falls. Both we and cops are fall, get up and run again. People run from the cops to avoid being detained. Cops run to detain people. When in 2012 I hit the same avenue from cops, knowing that they had opened a criminal case against us, it was funny, but it was a bit scary. And now it's already isn't. Thank you. Thank you.
I think if we've got time for some questions. Would anyone like to ask a question?
You mentioned the Constitution. We know the Soviet dissidents, particularly Alexander Volpin, emphasized using Soviet Constitution, trying to get the Soviet government to respect its own laws. It didn't work. They leaned into extrajudicial punishment and intimidation. What about the Russian Constitution now? Is it useful?
It depends for what. Like, in some places you can use it. There is no law in Russia. I mean, some things exist on paper, but it's nothing. There is war censorship, constant bombings of Ukraine. Constitution exists nominally, but it will not protect. So it's like this.
Thank you. Would you say that over the course of the last 10, 15, 20 years, the experience of Russian society has strengthened or weakened society's determination to move towards democracy and rule of law?
I should talk about Russian society during the last 15 years, is it correct?
10, 15, 20, choose.
Jesus. Okay, I'm 37. 20 years to speak, it will be long. That should be a field should be like circumstances for people to articulate themselves politically as a society. And this field, like this kind of circumstances being like ruined. I mean, by saying they were taking freedoms one by one, I mean that they were like literally shutting down everything what was said in loud. They were writing laws which oppress people. For example, Natasha is foreign agent. Who knows like what means the foreign agent term in Russia? Hands. Okay, 5 people. We've been imprisoned in March 2012. I'm not talking about like political murders and imprisonment of oligarchs in the first, let's say, 2 terms of Vladimir Putin. We'll put it to the side, it will be long otherwise. We'll take from my imprisonment 2012. They imprisoned us, then other political prisoners from the demonstration on inauguration. Then they started this crazy breeder, as they called Russian parliament that time, machine. So they were writing laws, many repressive laws. And one of them is the law about for being, like, you can name an organization or person foreign agent. If they name you a foreign agent, and the lists of new foreign agents appears on the website of Ministry of Justice every Friday. So there are a lot of jokes about Fridays. Yeah, so they name you, for example, a foreign agent. Just decided to do that from nothing. Since that moment, you are obligated to write that you are a foreign agent. There is a special like text which you should add to anything you write, everywhere, in the official documents, in social media, anywhere. If you do not do that, and you're in the country, they write a huge fine. If you do not do it again, or do not pay fine, you go to prison. And it looks like very soft method of pressuring people, but how it works? People start to mark themselves like that. If they mark themselves like that, other people afraid to communicate with them. Like banal situation in school. For example, you're a parent and your child wants to have an extra lessons. Teacher will be afraid to take money from you. So this is just very, very, very soft version, but you can understand how many people it can affect. Also, they create showcases. They imprison with loud, with like a lot of attention and propaganda, people from different communities. So people from that field or community start to associate themselves with these prisoners, start to be afraid. And they were doing this for decades before the full-scale war. So by the end of February, by 24th of February 2022, what you call a society being already ruined. And even on this situation, there were like groups of people across the country who were shouting that they're against the war. But this is a personal protest, always. It's not kind of well-organized movement with leader or several leaders. It's personalities, and they are always different. For example, now, maybe you saw these current detentions of street musicians. It's like 18 years old kids were singing songs of perestroika, and artists who left the country like Noise MC or Monetochka. Zero slogans, zero posters, zero banners, zero political statements in the courts, but everyone understands everything. And they are 18, which is cool. So time produced something new. That's what I can say about society.
Hi, I have two questions, but they're maybe related. The first is, I'm just curious about what the feeling is in private conversations amongst women and girls in Russia around feminism. Is that a conversation? Is it something that women think about and talk about amongst themselves in private? And is there a movement there? And the second question is, I think that's a bit more like in cities and rural areas. And the second question is, do you have hope, or are you hopeful for the future of Russia after everything you've experienced?
Why should we have hope for after? Like, we don't know when this after will come and how it will look like. Maybe it will be worse. Maybe it will be Third World War. Who knows? Like, I think we should do what we can today, every day, if it is possible. Like, if you're tired, then tomorrow. Feminism. Actually, I mean, I talked already that there are people in so-called parliament, I mean official bodies, who say that feminism is extremism. It's not a joke. Extremism is up to 5 years of prison. It's criminal article. So they opposed feminism to everything traditional, and Russia is very traditional. So this is enemy's ideology by the official line. Western enemy's ideology. I want to read you one quote. It's very short. I will find it. Okay, it will be peace, not just a quote. There is no law on domestic violence in Russia. The police do not keep statistics on such cases. No data, no problem. The organizations who do not conduct surveys of domestic violence are accused of being foreign agents. Feminists are waging war against domestic violence. The church is declaring war on feminists, family values. Patriarch Kirill and Father Tikhon personally addressed Putin, demanding that the law should be blocked. Russian Orthodox Church insists that the West should not be allowed to destroy Russian families. Tsargrad, the imperial TV channel of Orthodox oligarch Malafeyev, churns out articles about terrible consequences of laws against domestic violence in Europe. The beginning of the quote: men are expelled from their own apartments. Ultra-Orthodox militias organize prayer services against the enemy law. The law is blocked. That was like, and this is the quote. You will like it. You have to break a woman over the knee, tear off her horns, bend her, rub her, stuff her in the washing machine, A man must break a woman 100%, turn her into a real woman, wash off all the pornographic paint applied to her by modern civilization. Archipriest Andrei Tkachев. That's probably. Next question.
Hi, thank you. I don't agree with everything you say, but it's really cool to see you in person. Someone, I don't know, whom my family discussed years ago in the kitchens, and now you're here in real life. I wanted to ask you about how you stay connected to Russia. I assume you're not allowed in, and you advocate a lot for Russia. You answer questions about how people feel, what people think. How do you stay connected?
With those who are inside the country, chatting, just chatting. I mean, talk. My mom is still there. She don't want to leave. Friends, lawyers, like this.
Another big question, maybe. What is one thing you want us to take away from tonight? And what's one thing we can do?
One thing, what?
What do you want us, who are here in support of you, to take away from tonight? What do you want us to know? Or it's too much to understand fully, perhaps, but what do you want us to take away from tonight? And is there one thing that you can think of that we can do?
What you can do for, like, yourself?
No, to support,
I mean,
to support you.
To support us? Okay, I will start with like first question. I think it's one thing which you can take away from you. It's like book full of full of actions. So it will be cool if people will be more politically active in the West now, because just recently we had readings in Germany, and I was quite surprised how fast these so-called politicians who are literally quoting Russian propaganda are growing, and how big audience they have. They're like fucking mushrooms. It's like a lot of them. It's not only alternative for Germany, and Germany is the biggest economy in Europe. If Putin will manage to rotten like Germany from the inside, it will be very bad for everyone. So one thing which you can do, be active, don't stay aside. And personally, I don't like that all the military agenda is belong to like only right-wing politicians are speaking about that. I mean, I don't like it because I've been in Ukraine. I spent spring in Ukraine before going to North American tour, and it's heartbreaking and at the same time strongest stories which I've heard from people there. They are incredibly brave and kind people. Like they deserve to be saved and not be eaten by this Putin's gulag. So yeah, I understand that now on the 4th year of war, people are a little bit tired from the news, and it's kind of hard to put this all to the heart. But at the same time, I mean, I have strength to continue to speak about it personally. Support us. We have a show when we will perform in your city. Please come. We have I don't know. Can you show your Instagram? Wow, it's here. Can you? So right, this is like based on both books, and it's like I don't have home, so this is kind of what I stably have, and hope we'll have. Instagram. T-shirts we have. I don't know. I mean, just you are already here, and you ask like how you can support. You're already supporting. You're listening to me for an hour, which is like, you know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just to quickly, how you can support us, and we discuss, you mentioned how it's important to write letters for political prisoners, and in London we, every month, it will be maybe 26th of November, we will have another meeting. It's for English-speaking audience as well as for Russian-speaking. Please join us, we will show you how to write letter, and we have people in audience who already wrote a letter for political prisoners in Russia. We help with translation and sending this letter. You don't need to do anything, just to be with our communities and share what you're thinking, how you want to send a support message. And in general, like we have like more than 5,000 people who were persecuted, and more than 1,000 people, 500 in prisons now in Russia, and among them 266 women. And this is a women's term grassroots initiative who support female political prisoners. Please help them. You can send a donation. We can in euro, pounds. You can send it, not only in rubles, of course. We have a way to support. Not only with words but in financial support as well. Yeah, thank you.
Have we got some more questions?
Hi, thank you very much. I wanted to ask about the title because I recognize Life and Fate from the Grossman novel, and you spoke about books being important to you, and I just wondered if you'd talk a little bit about what books are important and why.
What books are important and why? I'm doing this for years, but I will do it again. Like, there's a dissident book of Vladimir Bukovsky called And the Wind Returns. And it's super cool book. It's not boring. I mean, it's like a road movie through prisons. And it helped me a lot. Like, really helped me a lot. There are definitely, this is from first term. I mean, he's incredible writer. From him, I a little bit learned how to create adventure. He's like really cool. During the war, like the beginning of the war, when I spent first months of the war in detention center, and all the detention centers, jails, I mean buildings with cells, not penal colonies, where they send you after you receive a sentence. So jails, there's very good place for reading. You don't have anything to do except reading. There was a book which actually came to my hands accidentally. It's a novel called, and I'm quoting it here. It's called Every Man Dies Alone, like Alone in Berlin. It's an incredible novel. So the plot is like this. Nazi Germany, the war, the Second World War. Old couple receive a letter that their son, who was in Hitler's army, died. And they started to draw an anti-war postcards and put them on different places like stairs or window, how you call them, you know, just in random places with the hope that someone will find it. It's based on real story. These people existed, they've been executed, imprisoned, interrogated, imprisoned, executed. But the book is fiction. It's incredible. Like, highly recommend. I read it in like one day. Great book.
We've got a question from someone in the online audience. She's asking, what is the music scene like in Russia? Are there still rock concerts or any kind of underground scene? And do even pop stars have to profess loyalty to Putin?
If you're an official artist and want to have the stage, you should definitely show the loyalty. But recent news, these kids which I'm talking about, Stop Time, they have Telegram channel. So basically it's teenagers who sing songs in the streets, and some audience which listen to them with flashlights from the telephone. They sing songs of artists who had to leave Russia, which I mentioned before, Monetochka, Noise MC, Face. And also they sing songs of perestroika, different songs, just check them out. There was this girl, her name is Diana Naoko, and she received detention days for singing one of these songs. I think videos are more representative than my words. Check them out. They are incredibly charming and cool.
We got any more questions? Did you have anything else you wanted to ask?
I have a lot of questions here. But you know, it was a question about feminism in general, and it's important day for us today. I mean, it's really a sad day, but just yesterday, like the prominent gender scholar Olga Shnirova passed away, and she created gender studies in 1996 in Russia. It was a famous Ivanova Center of Gender Studies. Yeah, I just want to acknowledge her influence and her memory in this evening too. Yeah, she was 68, and just this summer they organized gender schools for not only for Russians feminists but from former Soviet countries. Just everybody can apply it, and it was an international school which existed like 15 years. And they were labeled as a foreign agent too in 2016, kind of really early, because like first ever organization was a Center for Media Defense, which represent me in court right now in my hometown. Yeah, and they have a huge fine, I don't know, like 10,000 euro, it's their fine, and it's not, it's a region, Ivanova city, just, yeah, it was, she experienced really personally, it was attack to gender studies, to feminist movement. It was all her life, yeah, and like, it's really, was really influential figure for all of us, for all feminist movement. And you know, I was, yeah, while also reading a book, I was thinking a lot about emotions and how you, like all your performance, it's based of emotions of like I don't know, anger, like disagreement, rage, And emotions in general, it's so important in gender studies as well, because we have this quote from Descartes: I think and therefore I exist. But from feminist perspective, like mind and body separation, it's not true. And we have also Audre Lorde, which we quote a lot, but she said, like, I feel, and that's why I exist. And when I feel, I can be free. And you also mention it in your book, when you are in such conditions, but you decide how you feel. And yeah, I want to just also acknowledge this topic of emotions. And but maybe if you can share, maybe before some of your performance, what happening with you in your lives when you decide to do some action. It was a lot of description in the book, how it was literally, I cannot stop to read, because you, like, I am with you preparing this action and like preparing to put LGBTQ flag in the Ministry of Justice. It was fascinating. But what's the role of kind of emotions for you?
My emotions?
Yes.
Emotions. Yeah, well, I don't know. Which moment do you want?
Maybe we're back to a little bit, I don't know, to this, emotions is not also, it's not a personal, it's political and social. It's not our personal emotion which we experience. We anger because of all violence and injustice in general. But what if you can remember, I don't know, some action when you, when it was like super complexity and you thought maybe we cannot manage to do it, but in the end it happened, and what did you feel after that?
My so-called escape from Russia been called by number of media a cool action to fuck you the Russian state, and at some point it is, but in the book it's quite clear that I just desperately didn't want to leave the country. Very, 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 very much did not want to go out forever, or for a long time, or for I don't know how much time. And emotions of people who witnessed and witnessing this war from the inside of the country without an ability to speak. This is a strong thing. I mean, and important, I think, for the history, because there is this term, the trauma of witness, and I think, I don't know how many people are going through that, and number of people who had to leave the country or decided to leave the country only after full-scale war is more than 1 million, and they are spread out in this Western world and invisible as a category. So I'm thinking about this now. But if you if you do action, you mostly it's quite fun. I mean, really, it's kind of, you concentrated on details to make it all happen. There was this detail which one journalist mentioned, I think yesterday. I was super surprised that she's like, did you really clean the floor after this? There was a bed sheet and a spray which we used for letters, and I forgot to put something in between of the bedsheet and the floor in the rented apartment. So we had to clean the floor with Attila, and the only thing we had this stolen from the airport Dolce & Gabbana perfume. And the guy kind of asked about that, and he was so happy when I just proved that. It was like extremely happy face on Zoom. I mean, details mean a lot, I think. That's why I'm trying to keep them. But the question was about emotions. There are emotional moments there. Yeah, a lot of emotions.
Thank you. Do we have some more questions? Yeah, we still have time. Please.
А Оля не приедет?
Thanks. Can you hear me? Okay.
Она тут?
I was thinking about what you said about emotions and kind of how, you know, any oppressive regime is the opposite of emotion. The emotions are kind of fear and control and perhaps greed. So emotion is almost a revolutionary act if you can keep it, and it's also dismissed as a feminine experience, isn't it? Women are emotional, men are strong. So, and I think in Russia there is so much trauma from, 200 years more, that the emotional expression experience is very different to some other places. Of course, there's a universality, but there is so much, trauma for women, for men, for everybody. So just starting to express that becomes quite a revolutionary act, doesn't it?
This is half true. That's really a lot of stereotypes that kind of, and jokes about how emotional are women, how strong should be a man. But also there is this thing from Soviet Union when they were teaching women to not show emotions and be strong. This exists, and be patient. Woman ally. Yes, there was this woman in the detention center. Woman ally. They are. I just ended up in a cell with a woman, and she was a part of a sect. Let's say it's sect. Of traditional Russian, grounded people. I don't know how to call them. So basically there was a journal for telephone calls, when you are allowed to have a call for 15 minutes every day, and you should sign. You should put signature after the call. So they were signing the journal not with signatures, but they were writing woman Allah, man John, you understand? That was quite funny. So she was kind of criticizing me to not being to not have feminine thing, which is strange. But yeah, Russia is quite patriarchal society. This is not, I think, it's nothing surprising I'm saying here. You know it already.
Do we have some questions? If not...
Вот она. Она приехала.
Oh,
Here she is. The question you asked about who was supporting and
Yes,
who was
yes.
standing for me.
What about
Without
female?
Emily and Olya, that will be no book. Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Okay.
Oля, question about female friendship and sisterhood to you. And congratulations with the book. Yeah.
What should I say? Hi everyone, sorry. My cat apparently has flea again, so I have an official reason why I left so late. I was trying to fix that. Yeah. Yeah, you want me to add something to?
Oля is a collaborator on this book. Without her, I would not manage to collect all this together. And without Emily, so stand. Stand. It's if I just say Emily, it's not written on you, so maybe just stand. Stand. Just stand. Yeah. These women. Didn't want to say that. Sounds strange after this explanation.
Ready to wrap up.
I think you can answer one or two questions.
Yeah, I'm ready to answer any questions. I just
Any
didn't hear
questions?
them. Yeah, you see, I could have just stayed home. I took a cab, Masha. Anyway, I can't believe it's actually published. I'm so happy. We spent so many days and nights and hours
On rectangles.
yeah, and just researching every possible detail and then thinking, is that understandable to the audience that wouldn't be necessarily familiar with Russian context? So I guess maybe Masha already mentioned that, but our initial goal was to make it available not just to a person who's interested in Russia or like reading investigative journalists, but also to write it from the perspective of just a regular citizen trying to change something in your country, not in your, sorry, in just a citizen who's trying to change something in their country.
But this is also a country.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I'm actually very happy and a bit nervous that our book is published, and I hope you would love it. And I hope we, and like Masha's story and all our friends there, will give you, I hope, the feeling that it's not just some kind of broken, cursed land. There was a lot of hope and adventures and fun and love and, you know, all of that. And we all lost. But yeah, so our initial goal was to explain the path, how we got to the point that we have war with Ukraine for already 3 years. Yeah, and I hope we achieved this goal.
I also want to like thank.
We want to say thank you to Kasiana.
Yeah. Our editor, brave editor, very patient.
Very
person,
patient.
because we fucked up actually all 3 deadlines. Yeah. Yeah, we are like spread in different countries, so we were literally waking up in the morning, put WhatsApp on, and we were like for almost 2 years living like on rectangles for like 6-8 hours every day, and still doing that we fucked up deadlines. So we want to say thank you for waiting for us. We won't.
Thank you, Kasiana. Yeah, and thank you, everybody.
And I would like to thank Masha, Natalia, and also Oля for joining us tonight. Thank you, everyone, for coming as well. Our bar is going to be open next door if you'd like to stay with us for a drink. And we have lots of copies of Political Girl and Riot Days, and also Pussy Riot t-shirts for sale downstairs if you would like to buy one. And you're also welcome to scan the QR codes, and I think we'll put our crowdfunding one back as well. So thank you again for coming, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Everything you will give me. Спасибо.